week, but we'll see how things play out. And you can't talk Tom Brady without mentioning Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers, who both lost to Brady in the playoffs this season. Max, is Tom Brady putting more pressure on Mahomes or Rodgers?
The answer is Patrick Mahomes. Tom Brady's actually putting more pressure on Patrick Mahomes, which is a counterintuitive conclusion, I agree, because it feels like they're both running out of, that Aaron Rodgers is running out of time and Patrick Mahomes got plenty of time. But not against Tom Brady, you don't have plenty of time. How many years is Tom Brady going to play? Patrick Mahomes, in his entire career, has 2 playoff losses. Otherwise, in my opinion, he would be a 3-time Super Bowl winner. Do you understand? If Mahomes, given the level he's played at, was already he's 3-peated as a Super Bowl champion, I think he'd probably already be known as the GOAT, right? Because you'd have to take a couple away from Brady. And also, Brady's never really reached the level of, oh my God, did you see that Mahomes is on. So Brady's already kind of gotten in the way, but here's the problem for Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes really should still be alive for GOAT status eventually, given how early he was that great on that great a team, with a coach and players around him and everything. He's like Aaron Rodgers if Aaron Rodgers would have been on loaded teams every year. But as we all know, that winds up redounding to the benefit, to the reputation of the player on the great team, as it did with Tom Brady for years. And so Mahomes, if he wants to keep that alive, guys, he can't get knocked out by Tom Brady again. Could you imagine? Like, this dude loses 3 times in the playoffs or is otherwise blocked from a Super Bowl 3 times by Tom Brady when Mahomes was in his 20s and Brady was in his 40s? Since Brady is the GOAT, and that's the guy against whom Mahomes will be compared for that status one day, if things go well for Mahomes, it's already over if he loses to Brady again, or even if they compete in the same league and Brady wins a Super Bowl and Mahomes gets knocked out. No, Mahomes this season, it is imperative, if that's important to him, to be known as the greatest ever, or if it's important to fans, who's the greatest ever, that he succeeds more than Brady in the playoffs. In fact, he's running out of time, Mahomes, because of Brady's age, as much as Rodgers is with Tom Brady. The answer is Patrick Mahomes.
I disagree with you. I get where you're coming from, but I disagree. Here's where I'm coming from with this, Max. What if Patrick Mahomes has, he's on this revenge tour and he is just wreaking havoc and wrecking shop and looking like Patrick Mahomes is capable of looking when he doesn't have a foot or a toe injury and an offensive line actually protects him. Just think about that for a second. If he does all of that and passes 5,000 yards and does the kind of things he's capable of doing, but Tom Brady gets bounced out, we'll still be talking about Patrick Mahomes for years to come. But in the NFC, if Tom Brady wins, not only does he wins at the expense of Aaron Rodgers. And when you combine what Green Bay is doing with Aaron Rodgers, I mean, what are we talking about here? Aaron Rodgers, think about this for a second, guys. We're talking about a guy, Patrick Mahomes, is getting about $45 million. We could take less this offseason, the next season. Aaron Rodgers is scheduled to make about $14.7 million in base salary, about $6.8 million with the bonus. That comes up to about $21 million. And then you look at, the workout bonuses and all of this other nonsense. And then, even though it's a $37 million cap hit, the reality is that he's underpaid. We all know this. We all know that the Green Bay Packers have given every indication we want to move in a different direction, despite how great he is. The man he knew that coming into last season, completes 70% of his passes, throws for 48 touchdowns, just 5 interceptions, 4,200 plus yards passing, and wins league MVP. And they still not only just had the roster bonus for him, but you got agents leaking out stories or executives leaking out stories about how Aaron Rodgers is compromising the Green Bay Packers because, my goodness, they're so cap-strapped because of him. Really? This is the kind of nonsense that this guy has to deal with, okay? Which is why he should be leaving for Jeopardy, or definitely at the very least moonlighting to host the daggone show and bringing that additional income that he deserves from an NFL team who clearly doesn't have it or is unwilling to give it to him. So I look at it from that perspective, and I think about all of that backdrop with Green Bay going on. And then you combine that with Tom Brady still getting healthy, still hell-bent on returning and trying to go for another Super Bowl, blah, 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 blah. I'm looking at all of that, and I'm saying Aaron Rodgers is where the pressure lies. There's more pressure on him than it is on Mahomes because he is running out of time, specifically in Green Bay, and he's in the same conference as Tom Brady. That, to me, puts more pressure on Aaron Rodgers than it does on Patrick Mahomes.
Well, I mean, look, I think this is where our debate lies. I think that it's very, very unlikely that Rodgers will be in the GOAT discussion eventually. Guys like you and me, years from now, old heads would be like, oh, Rodgers in his prime. But if he winds up with 1 or even 2 Super Bowl championships, given the number that Brady has, given the number that Montana has, right? Given the fact that there are other players, even if Aaron Rodgers was the first one, now we have Mahomes. There'll be another guy where you're like, oh, my God, look at that physical package. Like the fact they can run and throw and do off-platform and all that stuff, because increasingly we see that kind of quarterback now. Rodgers is like the idea that he's ever going to be called the greatest of all time is far-fetched, especially since he just competed against Brady in the conference. And when it came time for the championship game, some bad decision-making on his and his coach's part, ended any chance they had to beat Tom Brady and his team. And I know he was down an offensive lineman, and that's legit and everything. I'm talking about really what's going to happen likely when we go to evaluate their careers. But Mahomes, Stephen A., he himself is still so young, and he's gotten off to such a fast start. He's basically
which is why the pressure's not there.
But that's right, because he has a shot to be considered GOAT, but not if he doesn't get past Tom Brady. Because Brady's already gotten him twice.
Let me throw this out at you and Molly, because no one's ever thought, I've never heard anybody mention this, but I will. There's only one way, and we all know that Tom Brady is the man. He's the GOAT. I mean, the resume speaks for itself. There's no debating that. And we won't bring up the cliff or ravine because we want to be nice to Max this morning. But I will tell you this. If there is one way that Tom Brady could be compromised in terms of conversations about him, and it'll never happen. Let me be very, very clear. This will never happen. But think about this. What if Aaron Rodgers ended up a New England Patriot and went over to New England with Bill Belichick and won the Super Bowl? That's about the only thing that Aaron Rodgers could do to elevate himself. And the reason I say is this, because if he were to ever do it, again, we know it's not going to happen because he's not going to New England, okay? But if he were to ever do something like that, what would happen is, while simultaneously winning and elevating himself, and obviously being in the same conference as Patrick Mahomes and taking him out, what it would also do is prompt us to ask questions yet again about Bill Belichick or Tom Brady all of those years together in New England, okay? Those questions alone would make things very, very compelling.
He'd have to win at least 2 of them, Stephen A. My point is this.
Brady's because of Belichick. Okay. If Aaron Rodgers went to New England and
did
won one
it would
Super
throw
Bowl
some
with Belichick.
doubt on stuff.
Yeah,
what I'm saying
that's
is,
right. It would throw
here's what I want to respond to that real quick, Molly. I get it. It's a good thought. But because Brady already did it without Belichick, year 1, getting just 1 with Belichick wouldn't be enough for Rodgers to be in that conversation. He'd need multiple.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it would be enough for him to be in a conversation. I'm saying it would be an excuse for people who want to throw a little shade on Brady to do so.